Wade and Wade Reacts.
This is our review for Ahsoka episode 5. This is a spoiler review, so if you do care for spoilers, go ahead and leave, and if you don't,
Get up out of here.
yeah, go ahead and stay with us. We're going to tell you the good and the bad in our nitpicks. So what good did you find in this episode?
This episode gave us a training session with Ahsoka and Anakin in the world between worlds. So they're already expanding once again the Star Wars universe. It gave us some flashbacks while Ahsoka was in the world between worlds. It gave us flashbacks to the Clone Wars. And this show showed Anakin in clone armor.
Yeah.
And that's something that everybody wanted to see on the big screen, especially after the Clone Wars. The episode was just the embodiment of what Star Wars is supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like that they had Anakin with his Clone Wars armor on, and they showed a young Ahsoka. In the episode, it flowed pretty good. Dave Filoni showing that he is a confident director. He did a good job on this episode. I like the lightsaber battles better on this episode than episode 4. The episode 4, the camera angles was nice, but it's something about the speed. Maybe it was Hayden Christensen because he's an excellent lightsaber duelist.
I think it was him because there was a short sequence that reminded me of the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin. He did similar movements. I was like, man, that Hayden Christensen, you can tell that, what is the man's name who choreographed the prequels?
Nick Gillett.
You can tell that his training is still embedded within Hayden Christensen's muscle memory.
Yeah, that muscle memory kicked back in. Another thing I like about this episode was that, you know, they took Ahsoka through a journey. I know a lot of people was complaining that Rosario Dawson wasn't showing enough emotion, but they explained why she wasn't. That's why sometimes it's better to be patient than to jump to conclusions.
Exactly. Let the story unfold.
Yeah, let it play out. So they also showed Commander Rex, one of the clones from the Clone Wars. I know everybody's excited about that. I like, you know, his little appearance. I would have rather they have Tamar Morrison playing one of the clones with his helmet off.
Yeah, that would have been good.
But they didn't. That's a nitpick, so I digress. Let me go ahead and push it on. So what bad did you find this episode?
I thought that Ahsoka stayed in the world between worlds too long. And at the end of the episode, I wish that they would have showed them go to the next galaxy.
Yeah.
I think that episode cut off too early.
Yeah. That's what I agree with that. This episode felt, and I didn't really too much like this episode. I know a lot of Star Wars fans that ate this one up, and I watched the Clone Wars and I watched Rebels, but I did not like this episode. It was like fan service. I liked to see it, but it didn't really further the story. It was a slower. Maybe they needed to slow the pace down for Ahsoka to have a character building moment. But I feel like this with all the Star Wars shows. They give you, you know, when you're at a restaurant and you get a taste, or you're at the mall and they give you a taster.
Yeah.
They keep giving you tasters, but it just never goes to the full meal. The Mandalorian feels like that. The Book of Boba Fett felt like that. So I'm gonna hopefully Ahsoka isn't like that. They're not just giving us little taste and it leads nowhere.
Right.
Because that would be a shame. And I hope Thrawn shows up before the last episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope he shows up before season 2.
Yeah, and does something too. Because I'm tired of Disney. They keep on doing this on their TV shows. It's like every TV show feels like a setup for something else, and then the setup is another setup. I'm like, man, I'm tired.
Exactly.
I don't want to.
That's the perfect way to explain it.
I'm tired of seeing that. So what nitpicks did you have in this about this episode? Because I had some.
When I don't know if it was a Force vision or she was actually talking to Anakin's spirit or a Force ghost. They didn't make that clear.
Yeah, left it up to interpretation.
Yeah, they left it up to interpretation, left it up to the fans, and I don't think they should have. They should have clearly explained what that experience was. Because if it's not clearly defined for the fans, what the heck was it?
I think they left it like that because they know fans, especially Star Wars fans, come up with a lot of stupid theories and speculations.
That's
so
true.
That's what they're going to do with this.
But then, close to the end of the vision, she was fighting Vader.
Yeah.
So to me, it left it unclear. It seemed like Master Anakin had some extra lessons.
You gave him the rank of master.
gave her some lessons that he didn't get a chance to teach her in life. In his Force Ghost mode or form.
I took this as like a Force vision, like what Rey had and then what Luke had on Dagobah. That's what I took this as.
And then after he gave her those lessons, he tried to whoop her. After he tried to whoop her, he told her that she learned the lesson he was trying to teach. Now, which lesson was that?
Yeah, that was even vague because I watched a lot of YouTubers and they had a whole like something that they pulled from the lesson, but everybody said something different.
And see, I had an idea of what the lesson was that she learned, but they didn't clearly define what she was supposed to have been taught from this vision. Like, what the heck was she supposed to have gained from going back in time?
Left it up for interpretation.
And then fighting Vader.
Yeah, this right here, this show should have been like the Clone Wars episode because what would have made it, just a nitpick, it didn't go and make or break the show. I want to see Obi-Wan in one of those flashbacks. Yeah. Because the Clone Wars, we see Anakin, Obi-Wan, and so that would have completed it to me. I would have felt, okay, this is the Clone Wars. Dave Filoni, give him Star Wars, give him the keys to the castle.
One more nitpick. Anakin should not have looked the same. Because when he died, he was an elder. He didn't die as young Anakin. But then again, maybe it's what you said. Maybe this was a Force vision. So she remembered him just as the last time she saw him, since she didn't see him as an old man. So maybe this wasn't a Force Ghost appearance from Anakin.
Yeah. And then another nitpick I had, a small nitpick, they kept calling the Purgle space whales. Call them Purgle. It's no need to call them a space whale because it's a different galaxy than our own.
Exactly. And Star Wars has never been known to try to find an earthly name so that the viewers can identify what this creature is. They would always call the creature the name that it's supposed to be called.
And another nitpick too, they did not show us what Sabine was going through. Hopefully next episode they show us what Sabine was going through because this episode felt stagnant to me. I know they were trying to do some character build, but I want to see the new galaxy. I want to see the continuation of the story.
Considering how long this episode was, they definitely had time to show what was going on from Sabine's point of view.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that the next episode is short because that's another thing I hate about Disney. All their shows like this, except for Secret Invasion, that could have definitely benefited from some 30-minute episodes.
Oh, yeah.
But they keep giving us these, they act like they got like 20 episodes. That's the problem I had with this episode. This episode is cool, but when you got an 8-episode season, the story need to be doing like this. And I know they probably didn't know the writer's strike, but Star Wars TV shows take like a year for us to get to season 2. And then the shows in between don't even be holding you over. You're like, man, I want to see this, I want to see that.
Right.
Like, man, get this mess out of here. I know they had Book of Boba Fett, which was whack. Andor is in the middle for the fans. They got the fans split. And then if this show doesn't deliver, Ahsoka, if this season don't deliver, I think I'm done with Disney. I'm done watching their Star Wars.
Oh, me too.
Cause they give you a lie. It's like they got it. To me, Disney TV shows feel like this: when you're in the store or you're at the arcade or something, they got the machine with the teddy bear, you got the claw. You grab that, you almost got something. that's how these Star Wars shows are.
That's true. They give you a little something that makes you think, okay, this has potential to be good, if not great. But then down the stretch or later on in the season, it turns into a disappointment. It's like, like you said, it's a setup for another setup for another setup for another setup that doesn't lead to any type of finale.
Yeah, they just set you up for nothing. And I know Dave Filoni in the past, I seen Rebels, I seen Clone Wars, so I have faith that he won't let us down. But I have been let down by Disney in the past. So that's been our review of Ahsoka episode 5. Tell us down in the comments what you thought about this episode. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share. And we up out of here.
Peace.